and welcome to Trenta, 30-something conversations with 30-somethings and the 30-something else. You know, they say that as kids, we have cousins as our first friends. So now I invited three of my cousins who each are in a different decade. So yeah, here they are. Here's Candie, Kianna, and Kara. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi,
I'm
thanks so
waving
much.
as if people can see me.
Thanks so
I do
much for
not get this.
accepting my invitation. So yeah,
Thank you
I
for
don't know.
inviting us.
Yay. Thank you. Yeah, so I don't know if, Kiana and Kara reached MIRC, but Ken's, I know you can relate to MIRC, right? That is a chat.
How
Chat is
dare
a
you?
thing. So yeah, I always ask my guests to give their ASL. Do you know what ASL is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, who wants to start? Should we
I
start
guess
with?
I'll start because
Okay,
I can relate to the ASL. Hey,
for sure.
ASL. So my name is Candie. I'm 35 years old, female from Cebu City.
All right. Who wants to go next?
Ako na lang next because ate Candy is the eldest. Um, so hi. Um, my cousins know me as Kianna. So you can call me Kianna. And then I'm 23 years old, and I'm female from Lahug, Cebu City.
All
Okay.
right. And finally,
Uh, Hi, I'm Kara. I'm 18. I'm female, and I'm also from Cebu City.
all right. Yeah, she's home for the lockdown, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so one is in her teens, one is in her 20s, the other is in her 30s. So I think I thought this would be an interesting mix. So yeah, maybe we'll start off the conversation with by talking about generations. So I think we're from different generations. I don't know where you identify yourself, but so my question would be, where do you identify yourself? Whether as do you identify yourself as a millennial, as a Gen Zer, how do you call it, Gen Z person? And how would you define your generation?
I know people can't see, but my T-shirt would show my decade. It says, "Love is all I have to give" from the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah. Did you get that from the concert you watched?
No, we actually, I had Kara do this font so that we would wear it in the concert.
Ah, love it.
So, my barkada, me, Cindy, Katrina, and Murky all went to the concert, and we all did different lyrics on our
Lyrics.
shirts
Cool.
because we are such fans. So,
All right.
I identify myself, I'm not quite sure because I'm not into the lingo or the
Hmm.
terms, but I am a 90s baby. What does that make me?
An old
That's
millennial like me.
like it's pre it's like the start of the millennials, right?
Right,
Hmm.
right.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So
And
everything that's um pre-internet and you know with the internet, that's my generation. I think right now I'd say I got the best of both worlds
Mm-hmm.
because I
agree.
got the time when there was no internet and everything was done prehistoric. And
Yeah.
also, I'm now in the generation where I get the internet and I love it. But
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I got the best of both worlds
Uh-huh.
because
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like.
Right. I had a realization over the weekend, Ken's, no, like before we used to spend so much money on cassette tapes and then eventually CDs, and then now like everything is free on Spotify, on YouTube, like a whole album is there. So like, see, the difference is so stark, I guess. So yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
I super relate to that, getting the best of both worlds, like the analog to digital shift. So yeah. What
Mm-hmm.
about Kiani? I think you're in the middle, no?
Oh, yeah, I'm in the middle. Like, I always used to think that I was a millennial. So that's how I identified myself. But then when you asked this question, I went, oh my god, I'm gonna Google something up really quickly. But so I found out, like, I'm Gen Z. For me, my generation is really just like people. If Ate Candy kind of started without the internet, we grew up with the internet. Like we saw YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We saw all of them evolve, and it's still evolving right now. So we grew up with the internet. That kind of generation.
Right. So you're like the digital natives, Joss.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
What about you, Car?
Uh, yeah, same in. I think I identify as a Gen Zer then. If ever one of the older ones,
Uh-huh.
because like because to an extent, I still had like a large part of my childhood na uh like analog din in a sense. So like it's not like for example like my point of reference is like Christoph and Kinito.
Oh
We
yeah.
didn't have
Okay.
like we weren't married to like screens or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
and like me and Ate Kianni and all the other like, the younger cousins we'd still play in Busay, we'd still play in the fields, and then we'd have that kind of or like when we go to school we'd still I like we still grew up with the whole Manila paper teaching. It wasn't
Right.
even the standard wasn't PowerPoint yet, but
Yes.
I think it's still yung the Gen Z is really just like digital natives, but like we really grew up with the internet, and now it's like second nature for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Super. Like I'm so amazed that your generation, like at such an early age, you're so tech savvy. Like I remember, I don't know with you, Kens, but my I got my first cell phone like when I was grade three, I guess.
Good for you, grade three. The only reason why I got a cell phone was because of Tita Tang. Thank you.
and before and before like cell phones were banned from being brought to school,
From
so
school.
they would be
Yeah.
confiscated. Like I had two cell phones confiscated in grade school because of that. So yeah, I wanted to pick your minds a bit, pick your brains a bit, and give certain topics, and because I wanted to see like if there's any difference and any similarities as well in your opinion and on certain issues. So as ladies, you know a top issue would be, I guess, body image. So I'd like to ask,
Mm.
did you struggle with this, and how much did it matter to you growing up? And then my follow-up question would be, at your age now, does it still matter? Okay. So maybe
Mm.
let's switch things up a bit and maybe start with Kara naman.
Okay. Um, like when I think about it in terms of my body image, I don't think I was at a point where I really hated um how my body looked in terms of like figure.
Mhm.
Um, of course, of course of course my mom. I think my mom being a particularly like older mom compared to the rest of my generation's
Mhm.
moms. I think she still brought over a lot of the old like oh you're getting kind of fat or like or like or you need to be thin or you have to wear your hair a certain way or stuff like that that I think most most kids my age like their parents are much more like liberal with that. But my mom's a bit older, so it still carried on. But I think the difference was that I was never really bothered by it because because the peers I'd meet in school or like what stuff or like stuff like that, they never really like enforced it really on me, so that wasn't really an issue growing up. If ever it was just like the typical things like teeth or um but there was a point though, but I feel like it might be like a teenager thing or something.
Uh-huh.
Like when I was in the younger teens, it was really like the whole wanting to be cool. So like makeup, like getting into makeup or trying to look older. But
Ah,
I think right now, like so it really was just like I guess less of figure but more of like your face. I think
right.
was like what people talked about. So like your eyebrows had to be, let's say I had to be bushy or a certain way, and um like you had to have like rosy cheeks or like this glowy dewy whatever. But I think right now at 18 I'm pretty comfortable like in my own skin, and I think it helps then that like media and other people or like the popular thing now is just to be a bit more is to be more welcoming and inclusive of different body types. So
Right.
yeah, like I feel like kind of secure in how I look and how I feel. So I'm not like the most fit person or like the most like the skinniest person, but I don't really feel any social pressure to kind of change that.
Oh wow, that's so good to hear. Like at your young age, Nona, you're secure in yourself, in your physical self, and yeah, I think media plays a huge role in that. Like I mean, during our time, body positivity wasn't such a thing, and then now I think, do you think that helped so much? I mean, like, was it a huge factor in in reinforcing your confidence?
Hmm. Yeah, I'd say so. I think being a teenager at the same time the body positivity movement was coming around. I think it really made a difference since like a lot of the insecurities and like the forming of your identity comes in your teens, right?
Right.
Um, and a lot of the like emotional baggage gets a bit formed here before you realize it, I think later in your life. So I
Mm,
think having that body positivity like at the same time where I was finding myself and finding my identity made it more like made it quicker for me to be like okay with myself or like less or come quicker to the conclusion that oh it's okay being myself. Like I still had that whole period of like oh I want to be cool, I want to look old, I want to whatever I have to look a certain way, but it was quick. I think it took a less amount of time for me to kind of get over that and just focus on myself.
oh, that's so nice. What about you, Kenny?
For me, I think it's the same with Cara. Like, in your teens, when you're in your teens, you just start high school and stuff, and then you start to realize, oh, my body is changing, what is happening? Like, and for me, what I did, I think for my whole teens, I used to wear really big shirts because I didn't like attention on my body at all because like I'm super like small and curvy, and then I don't like the attention that I get like if I'm walking on the street, especially since I commute and stuff. So I did not like that attention that was being done like given to me. So I just decided to dress a certain way, and I started to realize that why am I like this, why is it like that. But then like now I see like I'm totally super different from my sister who wears really revealing clothes. While me, on the other hand, like I have to think really hard. Am
Mm,
I okay to even wear this type of shirt? And I'm just gonna ride a jeep. Like I
yeah.
have to think really hard. But I don't know. But being around with the people who are around me, with my sister and my friends who are around me, family around me, like I got to a place where I'm okay with like showing my body and being okay, being proud of it. But yeah, there's still very small parts of me like like cause especially when I was in science high because it's a public school and I had to walk everywhere and go everywhere, and I was so conscious about my body. But like, right now, I think that I'm like in a place where I can like wear whatever I want already, and I'm just figuring that out. So I think it's a process really.
Right.
So that's me.
Aw. What about you, Kens?
You know what? it was a good thing that I was super skinny, malnourished skinny as a child because growing up, yes, there was this certain, and I know from my classmates, most especially our generation, it was like do not go under the sun. Um, you have to be white as much as possible. You have to be. Oh, this is the lighting, by the way, that I look really white. That's just the bad lighting. But especially now, one of the things that I saw in Facebook, and I like their voice and their message. Morena Moreno. I think you guys seen them around, right? And one of their t-shirts was like, "I like my tan tita," which is
Yeah.
something that I can definitely relate to. Although for my parents, it's not a problem with them, but I saw it a lot in school. I saw it a lot in school where their parents would really force them to hide under the sun, bring an umbrella, just so that they would not turn any darker.
Yeah.
So my generation really had that issue. And then on in weight, it's not a problem for me because they really wanted me to fatten me up, and only now that I turned where I started to gain the weight that I wish I didn't have. But I think yeah, there was a lot of body image issues before that people that the older generation did not realize was really hurting the confidence of us. I mean, I didn't have a problem. My problem was I wanted to be fatter because I was really super malnourished looking. Being scoliotic, having a scoliotic brace did not help my confidence at all.
Right.
You know, well, although I realized, that's what made me skinny also because it was very constricting. So my appetite, if I got full, you can't get full too much because there's nowhere to breathe because of the
Right.
scoliotic
Right.
brain.
Yeah.
So and it was so hot in that, so I was probably sweating all my fats out.
Right. Right. Yeah, I super relate to that like morena issue thing because I only started embracing my being morena when I was like fourth year high school to like college. Because before, like in grade school, I'd be so ashamed of my color because the definition of beauty was like you should be white, you should have straight hair, right? So
It's like you should be like Chinita. That was like the uso thing, like being a
right,
Chinita
yeah,
girl,
and
being
if
white, the rosy cheeks.
It's
yeah,
when you said it's Anita for us, it was, oh, you have to be foreign looking. Because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not Anita for us, it's foreign looking, like mestiza.
Yeah, yeah, Miss Pizza.
but now it's like everyone's trying to embrace their own skin, so I think it's really a good thing. Super, it's a step forward as to
True.
body image, no? Another topic I would like to discuss is dealing with the pressure from family. So, is there a certain
Dang.
type of pressure that you felt growing up, and what type was this, and how did you deal with it?
Mm. Do I
I think
start?
the,
I'm
well,
sorry.
mine is gonna be really quick because I think being the one of the first apos in our generation, in our group,
Mm-mm.
helped in a sense that there wasn't pressure. Which thinking back now, I'm like they should have pressured us, most especially in school when I see you guys achieving so much. I'm like, what man? What was I doing when all my other cousins, my younger cousins, were excelling and super excelling? What's another word for being on top of things? And I'm like, okay, we didn't really have that. We didn't have no extracurricular activities that we do, and I think I'm compensating for it now with my extracurricular activities that I've done in the past. Because
Uh-huh.
when I see you guys, I'm like, they're really doing something. And I was like, did I really do enough as a child when I was in high school, when I was in college? Now I feel kind of guilty about it.
Oh, that's really interesting, no? There was lack of pressure on your part. What about, let's hear from Kiani.
For me, I mean, my parents, like, you know, my parents. My parents are very like hippie. Like, I always, I always, whenever I like try to, to ask my parents, like, try to describe my parents, they're like, just chilling, like,
They
just
are.
relaxing and stuff like that. I've never really felt any pressure to be, especially like when I got into science, I mean public school. I don't know how to say that. When I got into public school for high school, I saw all their parents were like telling them to, you have to do this, you have to do your project this way, and you have to pass all their parents are like that, but my parents didn't even teach me how to do algebra. Like, I had to figure it out myself because my mom and my dad were also struggling with teaching me, so I had to do it myself. So they're pretty chill. I think same with Ate Candy, kanang lack of pressure. Pero dili pa grabe na pressure, but just like kanang, I think the pressure to go a certain way lang yun. My parents only decided to pressure us towards something we want to do very late na. So I think I only started getting into extracurricular stuff or extra stuff like fourth year high school now. Then I realized, oh man, I could have done the school newspaper or I could have done this, but I didn't. My parents were just like, oh okay, she likes to write. Okay, do you write, but not try for school newspaper or try do competition. So kinda lack of pressure, I guess. Same lang.
That's so funny. What about you, Car?
Oh, I think I'd say the opposite. Like,
Uh-huh.
I think my mom, like, I think it's like on the first time, like being the firstborn, and then like I think again being the firstborn, having older parents than the rest of my generation, and so and for and my mom for a lot of my life being the one to raise me alone, and her being like the strong woman that she is, and then me being like a girl. I think there definitely was a lot of pressure growing up, and I think a lot of pressure now. So like for example, they're much more lenient towards Bea. So Bea is like the I think like it's like the second child, the bunso syndrome. Like so Bea gets the
Uh-huh.
she's going with her fine arts degree and
Uh-huh.
going like going into these theater arts, and then for me kind of like the pressures growing up and where it led is like there's always like a constant push to like a constant intentional push to keep being better, which I
Uh-huh.
think um, I guess the effects of it now like growing like kind of going into college and kind of thinking about it, it's just hard to or like I take um I take failures very badly now. So I think like this there's this whole push like all of my life, like you have to excel in these certain things. You have to like go into like being a lawyer, but like now I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't know what to do. And then there's like that, and even now I think like even admittedly though like my mom is now much more like liberal with things. I think there's still that remnant na because I'm the firstborn. They have like these certain expectations of me to do
Right.
to do or be more.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's nice that you touched on that, no? Birth order. Do you think that has something to do with who you are now? Do you believe in that?
Yes.
Okay, let's
Yes.
go, Kiani. Go ahead.
Yes, I really do believe there is something like being the eldest of three, eldest of the three, you know, I felt like I always had the responsibility if my sister did something bad or my brother did something bad, I would take it out on myself. Like I could have been a better ate, that kind of thing. So I kind of like I don't know if it was pressure from my parents. Maybe I'm putting pressure on myself because I'm really that way. But
Mm.
I really felt like I had to, take care of them always. And if something bad happened to my sister, I would always be like, I should talk to her more. I should have, encouraged her towards the right path. So I'm not entirely sure where that pressure comes from, but for sure it's there. So yeah.
I super agree. Like the three of us, except for Candy, we're all eldest daughters, right? We're all eldest children. So I don't know if it's really like a natural thing to be wired that way, right? I also agree with what Kara earlier said, that there's always that pressure to do better, and then you feel like when it comes to the next children, it's like, oh, they're more chill, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe it was just an
Oh
experiment. They were just
my
trying
god.
to strict parenting on me.
Right. Right.
Yeah, like and on that food, like I feel like it's an eldest daughter thing. Um or at least for my experience, the kind of to be on top of everything, like not just on in like my personal or academic life, but also on the family. So like for
Right.
example, like being the one to figure out like how to pay the bills or how to do all these different things, or being the one entrusted to go to these different places and do the family stuff that my younger I mean that the younger sister that my younger sister doesn't
Right.
necessarily know how to do. Even
Yeah.
little things like ordering online or like figuring out how to buy these tickets. Like I feel like a lot of the pressure on to just know everything is
Yeah.
that's kind of what was put on me then.
What about you, Ken?
But
What
that's
can
a
you
good
say?
thing. That's a good thing, Kara, because those are life
Yeah.
skills. I mean, it took me a long time to grasp the responsibility that's needed, and and I and I can't speak for Cludy, but I don't think she had that pressure. I don't think she had the first daughter syndrome, because she was spoiled. She was spoiled because, again, being the first apo, the
Yeah.
girl. I think she was spoiled um growing up. So, and for us, and you know I'd say that, yeah, they were lenient. Again, there was really I didn't really feel any pressure from my parents about certain things, like even in school. It's just like, make sure like you pass, don't
Uh-huh.
get low grades, but not like you have to be on top. You have to do all everything. And now, being a certified adult, I'm like, what? These are things that I should have known as a kid, or at least, trained me. Paying bills, doing things online, booking flights. I only did that when I graduated, when I had work. That's when everything, set in. And I wasn't really being like on top of family matters, or, being on top of the household, except for now when it's locked down. That's the only time where I really feel all, the need. And of course, I'm old enough. I shouldn't be relying on my parents as well. So if you start young, at least you know how to do it, and you wouldn't be like questioning yourself as a 20-plus-year-old, like, how am I supposed to? This is how you pay the bill. Oh, I can do it online.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been going. I should have been going to the banks all this time.
Right. Right.
The bayad centers and everything.
Yeah, like this could be this. It could have been much easier. I would say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Um, Good to know that there wasn't that much pressure except for on Kara's part. But yeah, you're handling it pretty well, I guess. So yeah, congratulations to you, Kar. But I
Thank
wanted
you.
to move on and like get into this Q&A portion where you can ask each of us, each of the rest of us here, what it is you wanted to ask ever since, or even like top of mind. Like, what is there a question that pops into your head that you want to ask each of us here, including me? Who wants to start?
Ooh.
Wag ko ka prepare ani na part.
I know. I should have thought about this more,
Wala
huh?
ko wala ko magugo.
No, that's the
Oh,
point.
I have a question.
Okay,
Ah.
sure. Go, Carf. Address to whom?
I think everyone, because
Okay.
I just want to hear your thoughts on it, Pod. Like, what are your what's your viewpoint on like love and relationships?
Karag yun again.
I, I,
Oh
I
wait,
don't
oh
think
my
I'm
god!
the,
Wait,
I think I need to leave this group. I don't think I'm in the right group, guys.
What about it,
like,
Star?
like
That's
the
good.
perspective on relationships.
Mm.
Like I was thinking about it. Kay my mom. Like for me, for example, uh, I don't think I follow a lot of like courting norms. Like
Mm.
like for example, my mom is older po, so when I tell her like, oh, I confess to this guy that I like, or I ask to
Confessed.
define this label, and then my mom would be like, I never understood how you can do that, or
Mm.
like how
Mm. Yeah.
why it's so easy for you to be the first one to make a move.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to ask like, ayun, based on your age or growing up, what was
Yeah.
uh, what was uh what were relationships expected to be like,
Mm-hmm.
or the outlook on love?
Okay. Well, I can
Growing up, none. None. You're not supposed to have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
That was growing up.
or growing up, you're supposed to hide it. Like I
Yes.
don't know, but growing up, we weren't. At least me, I wasn't as open. I guess even up to now, like Candy always says, like I have a secret life or something.
Yes.
I always said that.
But yeah,
You do.
I would say that like in high school, grade school, high school, you'd always think that the guy has to make the first move. So it was always like that. And then once you reach your 20s, you find that, it doesn't need to be like that. And um, you, before manggod, like I would measure, like, you know how when you're young, you'd always measure na dapat like, dapat he texts first, and dapat like you wait a few more minutes before like that. But like coming into my 20s, I learned that, there doesn't necessarily have to be dynamics like that. Just go with what you feel, and like at least like in the end, if it works out, if it doesn't, at least you know that you've done whatever it is you were supposed to do, like at least on your part you've done everything, diba? So coming into like my relationships later in my life, I mean like in my mid 20s to like, yeah, early 30s, it's more like, I would really say what I feel. I wouldn't, you know there was more courage, I guess, on my part to like to be more vulnerable, be more, um, not to take note of mistakes, because I realized that was really a flaw I had in my past relationships, like when I was younger. So yeah, I took that with me as a lesson moving forward.
I
Ako
think
na.
for me, because we grew up, it's you're not supposed to have a boyfriend. You're not, and especially having an older sister like Judy, there was a lot of things that you've witnessed, and you say like, okay, I'm just not gonna go through that hassle. I'm not gonna go through that hassle. I'm not gonna go through my parents being mad at me all the time. It's just that. I mean, if I like somebody, yes, we would hide it. We would hide it. I would say I didn't really hide it, but it wasn't an open discussion. I mean, even now it's not an open
Right.
discussion.
Yeah.
Not unless it's like super serious, then maybe that would be the open discussion that it would be. But when, like, in terms of dating, it's you just learn and I'd say for me, I'm more of a, well, we'll see what happens. I'm people always mistake me, especially at work. They always mistake that I would not be willing to go out. Like they see like a certain type for me that, oh, okay, they see a certain type that, oh, that this is for Candie, oh, this person, no, 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 should not even be thinking about that. But I'm very open. I'm very open. I'll go out with anybody once because you never know, who you're gonna like, not until you actually get to know that person.
Good for
So
you,
yeah,
Ken. Yeah.
Tawa, jud ko kay kabalo ko sa
I'll always
husay.
Anybody, I
anything
love
once is fine.
anybody.
Anything
Like
once is
my
fine.
mom said, my mom is scouting for you, huh? Like she shows me pictures.
Yes,
Oh, she wants to
yes,
set
send
you
us
up
in a
with.
group chat.
I and this is why I love your mom because she's very supportive. She's very
Yes.
supportive about anything I do. Right. But it's hard. It's hard because people have the perception, or they think they have the, they see me as being this way because I act this way. But if
Mm.
anything once, I mean, this is love. And then now I'm into my K drama, so the more I'm like, oh my gosh, I need all these things that happen in the K dramas to be happening to me. I have become delusional about it now.
Mhm.
What about you, Kian?
For me, because I think the conversation has come into two parts: the family's reaction, or how you deal with like the family. So I'll do that first. For family, well, I was the first one to really introduce uh my ex to my family. My ex to my family. Correct. So I was the first one to really introduce like having a significant other in the family, and uh he would go to our place and do magete and stuff like that. So for me, it was like a challenge because it was kind of an experiment to see how our parents would react. So my sister and brother, who would like hide their stuff, would be like, okay, so this is how mommy is, this is how daddy is. They'd be like that. So at least I felt so much pressure on my part because I felt like it had to work and stuff because I already introduced them na good. But like, well, koan, but what I did realize with my parents, especially with the recent breakup of 2020, because I think I can be more, at least ingon ako sa parents, I really more na open with ang communication channel about that with them. Especially my dad, it's so weird because he was like, sa start pa lang daan awkward siya, then in the end awkward siya. So then I realized, you know what, there really is no handbook to having a kid. Like they don't have like certain chapters on how to handle these kinds of things. Like my mom was really open with it, and my dad was like, we're really weird about it. So I think moving forward, I know I can be more open about things. I'm not so sure as to like how serious a relationship is, but like I think I can be more open with that with them ever since my recent experiences with my relationship. Well, as for like the relationship norms, for me, yeah, like when I was in high school, I really had to care about like, oh, I'll give some time so that he doesn't think that I'm waiting for his text or like that, those kinds of gamay na stuff. But then karon, I really don't care. Like I saw it before na there used to be an issue about double texting. If you like, you seem too eager if you text a lot of things. Like, ha, okay, how are you? Like that. I don't really care about that anymore. Like, I will really text you the whole paragraph if I feel like I will even record myself if I can't even, articulate it in writing. So I realize na if I want it, I'll just really go for it na lang kay wala,
Time
you
to
won't
show.
get it. Yeah, you won't get it if if you make pabebe pa, pa-heart to get or whatever. I don't know. It depends on you if magpa-heart to get ka. If that's your kind of thing. So, so hello. So, kuan.
Excited mo.
So kuan kana. I felt if I want to do something, I really get it lang good. I don't care anymore about the relationship norms. But my parents really think that this is what you should do. Okay, when you have a boyfriend, you have to let the boyfriend go to them and ask permission. Na 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 na. I didn't even go through the courting thing. So like I can't really courting thing isn't like isn't popular, isn't a thing anymore. Kana.
And I
Oh,
think a
that's
factor also there, Kian, is because like let's say that was in Dumaguete, right? Or like for me, that was in Manila.
Yeah.
So it's the long distance. You can't really introduce right away.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, kana, he just suddenly appeared and he's just been there and then now he's not. Ganun. Anyway.
Too
I
bad.
love it. I forgot, Candie.
Oh my
Serious?
god! It's recording.
That'll be for another episode. Okay, so Kian, what about you? What's a question you would like to address to each of us?
Well, for me, I think that when you first asked the question, I think the first one was like, what is your perception of our relationship as cousins? Because for me personally, like I always just thought now, oh, we're cousins, so that immediately means that we're close. But then I realized not other people are close to their cousins.
Right.
So like I always just thought na, oh, we're cousins. But then I didn't think na, oh, I think we're close because we go to Busai every week.
Sunday.
So
Yeah.
what is your perception of a relationship as cousins?
That's a tough one.
Oh, I
Why
thought
do you
about
have to
it
think about it,
before.
Paige? Why do you have to think about it? The
No, I
answer
mean
is
like
yes,
the
we are
question.
close.
Yeah, we are close. But the perception, I mean the
Yeah,
perception. That's a tough
yeah.
question.
Oh, I remember.
Anything, would you like? Would you consider us close? Would you be like? Do you think like? To be honest, I already talked about this with Ate Nina already. She knows. She knows this already. Like we think na, if there's a time that Lola, it's time to go home for Lola. Do you think we would still be the same cousins as we are? Do you think we're just gonna drift apart? Those kinds of questions. So that's what I'm trying to think. Like,
Ah,
do you think? Yeah. So maybe so it's
mhm.
easier to answer the question. I made it a little more specific.
Hmm. No, I think we are close. I would say personally that I mean I would have wanted a siguro maybe effort lang on my part na I didn't make an kulang lang sa effort on my part to make concrete efforts to make a deeper relationship with each of the cousins, but I think generally we are close. And like I remember like when we were kids, like sila Ate Clud, Manigino, the twins, we would always play, right? Like wrestling and
Yeah,
whatever. We were super close. Like we would play at the backyard of Lola, finding all those what do you call them?
water bombs,
Water
the
bombs.
water,
Yeah.
the water
We
bombs.
have those shared memories, which I think go moving on to the younger cousins, I wasn't necessarily able to have. So yeah, now I think those times na ever since I came back home, I appreciate those times and we go to the coffee shop and then we just chika, diba? So yeah, I think that glue is like there. So yeah, it's a matter of me making more effort to like deepen that relationship with like each of those cousins, but definitely it's there, and I'm so blessed na we're close, like the Angan cousins are close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, what I think, like, I I actually really like I think I attribute a lot of who I am to like to growing up with with the Angan cousins, and I think there's a lot of my personality traits I only got because of because of how close we are. Like for example, like if it's uh I got Kuya Gino's Game Boy, and he was the one who really thought like he's the one who really introduced me to like Pokemon and like all the different video games that I love. And and that's still like a really big part of me. I still love video games. I still love this specific genre of video games that he introduced to me and that we would play in those Sunday lunches. And then if it's like music or like uh I got a lot of my music influences from like from Kuya Joseph showing me his iTunes and us listening together in Busai, or Ate Ninya leaving her CDs of like Boys Like Girls in the condo, and I would listen to them like all the time. And
You've been looking for it,
and
by the way.
yes, I don't know where they are anymore.
Girl, everything is on Spotify. Get over it.
And whether it's like writing or even Ate Kianna, who's also like debate for a while, um and like uh or and all those different things, like I can't say them all like from the top of my head, but I do attribute like a lot of myself from all the different things I learned from you. And it's why I think I'm struggling like a lot with this quarantine, because it's like like we
Yeah.
haven't seen each other in how many months, and then
Yeah.
at the wedding, just like all of us being there, or at least some of us being there and just like talking, and like how it would be in Sundays, or
Right.
whenever I like or when me, Ate Kiani, and Ate Kayla, like after that wedding, then we went to Busai, and then we were just like on the couch and just like all over each other, like just like talking and everything, and updates. And it's those things I think I really miss now. um Especially like I'm going to be staying here for a whole school year, and again this summer, and I don't know when I'll be able to see you guys again, or like
Oh,
have those like full house moments.
right.
Um,
Hopefully
yeah. So
this New Year,
mhm.
diba? Like the tradition na New Year's Eve. And then I love that, like,
Yeah,
everyone sits
like
in the sala
mhm.
and we all play games, right?
Yeah, and I think also growing older, and especially growing older, there's a lot of like and again, like since I'm the second youngest, so now that I'm getting older, I think there's a lot of more range of things that we can talk about. Like you don't really have to censor anymore, or whether
Right.
it's like drinking together,
Right.
or or just talking more. I think it's like why I I I really love all the cousins, and I love when we're all able to hang out with each other. And so I think even after the older people are like doing their own thing, and like they're all in their own places, I think I think I hope we'll still get to see each other like every week, or still have those like outings, or where we go to like the tops or whatever, and we all just eat or stuff like that.
Right. What about you, Kens?
I think it's different when, especially when you said that we're all growing older, and we have more topics to talk about. Because I mean, initially I would say that yes, we are all close. Of course, us being the eldest, we had you guys to play with, to boss around with, to tell you to do stuff for us. But I think as we're growing older, and we have our own personalities, we have our own things that we do. I still feel that we still have a certain closeness, and it did make me realize, especially with the Sunday lunches that we don't normally have. Like, I miss it so much, even if we're not doing anything. Because again, we're all in different stages in our lives, and the talks gets more interesting. It's not just oh, what's your favorite TV show, or what are you doing
Right.
in school. And I think that's an even more um, unique kind of bond that we have, when we're at different stages in our lives. That for me, it would matter more. It's not just, no, we're close because we're cousin. Now it's we're close because we're cousin, and plus we have this shared something about a
Right.
certain topic, or what I say, your secret life that you will talk to us about.
Right. Right. Totally agree. What
Mhm.
about you, Kens? What's a question you'd want to ask each of us?
How are you guys doing? You guys are so, again, and this is coming from me, being very relaxed, being very, well, I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but the three of you specifically, are all types of people that have goals, that always have something to do. That you know, I feel like even if it's even if you're supposed to be resting, like your brains are all like, okay, I want to write about something, or okay, I'm thinking about something, and I'm like, my brain will literally relax and take a nap. And how are you guys doing with this pandemic going on? Like, how that has it changed you? Has it made you learn to relax in a sense?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I just give off this impression on others na I'm always doing something, because in reality, like, I'm not always doing something. Like, to tell you the truth, in law school, I would sleep like at least 10 hours.
Wow.
And like,
Love
I
that.
would always cram or I'd be out, not studying. That's really the truth. Like, so I don't know why lang there, maybe like, I don't know why there's that, why there's that impression that I'm always doing something. But yeah, I realized in my mid 20s the value, or maybe even in my early 20s, the value of rest. I used to be that when I was younger, like grade school to, let's say, until second year high school. But after that, like, I really realized the value of taking a break, resting. So this pandemic, I guess, was really a welcome break as well. You know, it really recentered me. It helps you recenter yourself. It helps you really reevaluate your life and see what really matters. So yeah, I think, and it was a struggle at first because I'm really used to, living alone, living, so moving back to Mahogany for like for the lockdown was a bit of a struggle in the beginning, but yeah, Nina is agreeing. But I think the dynamic is back. So yeah, I think it was a welcome break, I guess, for me, the pandemic.
Well, for me, well, I'm working from home, so the first few months of the lockdown, I felt like I had to prove myself to be productive, and it was like, it was like bad. Like I didn't know what. Even if it was after 6, I would still be working because I felt like I should have at least an output to come out with and say, okay, I deserve a sweldo, okay, because I finished this. I would go, I'd be like that and had to be. I felt like I had to be on call on Viber. If they mention me, okay, sige, chat ba yun because it's 10 o'clock in the evening. So, but then, then I realized, I shouldn't be performing as if everything's normal. Like, I shouldn't put this constant pressure on me to do something because, it's the situation's really bad. But I did feel that, like, in high school and college, my parents know this. High school and college, I would get sick if I was not doing anything because I would want to be busy. I don't know if it's a science thing. I don't know, whatever. You put the pressure on yourself. But in high school, I felt like I always had to be busy. So when I got to college, I was taking up mass comm, and it's a little like it's a chill course compared to like all my other batchmates. Like I don't have to study that much. I just have to write. And so I even took up a job the first year. First year and second year college, I was working also as a supervisor for a milk tea shop in Dumaguete. And I had to, and then I went to Japan and stuff like that. And I was always making sure that I had extra call just to keep myself busy. I don't know why. Was it because to keep me company because I was living in Dumaguete by myself and stuff like that. And then I just brought it along, and until now. But now I'm better at handling it now. Like I don't have to be busy. Sometimes I find it even more productive gani to sleep
Right.
because at least I'm resting. Kaysa, magtanga ako sa Netflix looking for something to watch. So, and also, I'm also thinking, like, especially during this pandemic, since I have more time at home, it's kind of helped me a lot because actually I don't know if you guys know, but me and my family, we do ever since April we've done family time from Monday to Saturday. So we just share stuff about what's happening, and then we listen to like praise and worship songs for an hour or two, and that's really got me like that helped me a lot, especially like Kayla's back home, and it's not like super dako among balay. It's really small, so all of us are like, did you keep did you wash the plates? No, I didn't. It's not fighting and stuff like that. But like because there's family time, we understand each other's struggles more, and I've got connected with God, with my family, and then I realized, other than sleep being a productive thing, I realized now, you know what, I can do other stuff than watch K drama. I can write, I can read, do all these things that I always I felt like I didn't have enough time to do before. So
Right.
I'm still doing a lot of things. I still want to do a lot of things, but I think it's my energy is just redirected. That's it for me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
What about
for
your school, Kara? With you and school and this
uh,
online thing? I don't know. How is that even?
I'm dying. For me, I guess the pandemic. I think I'm at a point in my life where I define myself as a workaholic. Like Ate Kianni, I like being busy, and I like immersing myself in stuff. And yeah, like for I think it was also um like growing up in very competitive spaces. So EHAS was pretty competitive, or at least the people I surrounded myself with were like pretty competitive. In Ateneo, it was also a really, I was even more competitive like place where people were not only competing with ACADS but also like with extracurriculars, and also just like in college. Oh my, I feel so dumb. Like I really be feeling so dumb. Like I'm not sure if it's just like first year of college, like freshman stuff, or if it's the online setup, or just like an unfortunate mix of being dumb as well. But I feel like it's just being really competitive is also, well, it's also something for me. I've grown to really love putting work into my passions, or at least I think I'm grateful that I was able to figure out what are the things I'm passionate about pretty early on.
Right.
So in the pandemic, to be honest, like I haven't stopped working since March. Um,
Wow.
and since school was on lockdown. So there was a point in time where, and I was just chilling, like there like before I left for Cebu. I was just in with sila Kuya Joshua in their house. I was just staying in the guest room, and then playing with Jasmine, their dog. But at the time, I think there's a I really like being busy, Pod. So that was the time I was really like actively looking for internships, and then which I've been nonstop since summer. So work either in an internship or working in my political political organizations. Okay. And it's even more pressure in given the situation of the country now, and other org stuff that I commit myself to. If there's one thing though I've learned this pandemic it's really boundaries.
Exactly.
So
Right.
like it's really like the importance of really setting boundaries for myself. Like Sundays,
Right.
I don't do work on Sundays. Like strictly either no meetings or no studying, or I really just try to keep it for cleaning the house, and also just like talking with sila mom and Bea, or also Saturdays I try to keep it open when I can. Kay that's when we visit Lola. And
Right.
also other boundaries has been like setting work schedule, setting working hours, um and really uh and really not just waking up. I like for the longest time in quarantine, I would only wake up at the moment, like 1 hour before I needed to actually do stuff, and it really sucked. Like waking up just to work, like it really sucked. Like the first thing on your mind is, okay, I have to ligo and eat breakfast, and then I'll go to my laptop, and then the last thing I think before I sleep is I just work until I feel tired, and then I pass out. And I
Right.
realized it really wasn't healthy doing that. So I've really been committing to actually uh like if I wake up, kaya I'm really a early morning person. Kaya I get it from my mom, who's like up at 5 a.m. every day. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
also up at like either 5 or 6, but I don't do like work or school related stuff until 8 because that's my earliest class. Uh, so I spend the time in the morning like eating breakfast like normally, or like talking with mom, or like watching stuff, or doing tai chi because I need to do it for my PE class. So it really relaxes. Like I'm not just waking up to go to the laptop, or I'm not just waking up to be like this. I think that's something that's really kept me sane. But I think the second thing I realized over quarantine is like at the page is adjusting back to living with family. I mean, like not necessarily living with other people. I live with 3 other people, but also just like kind of adjusting yourself to a family setting. Like I can't be going out at like 8 p.m. to go around like Katipunan, or I can't sleep over somewhere else, or 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 just randomly go out by myself. I also can't talk about certain stuff, or like share stories because I would not I do not want to get kicked out. Like, so
Right.
it's really adjusting back to, and I really enjoyed, yeah, like even while I think my type is like I'm very type A, like very okay, like work study. I like studying stuff like that, but I also really enjoy like going out and being an extrovert. But I also can't do that now. And I really miss like friends and like other people, and doing other things for recreation aside from like watching TV,
Right.
watching Netflix, or like watching YouTube videos, or
Mhm.
so it really is trying to look, and I just realized how much I miss it. Or also really just going to Busay food like with other people aside from Lola. Like I love Lola, but I can't ask her like about, so how's your how's
You do?
how's work, how are you coping? Like there's a very limited things that you can talk about with Lola. But yeah, like I guess those are the things
Balik-balik
I've
pag yun.
even thinking about boundary setting, and just like how much the outside world meant to me, or like how much of a big of an impact it had on like keeping me sane.
Right. I love what you said about boundary setting because that's so perfect. I talked to you about this a little earlier, guys, no na me and my friends have this passion project. We're mentoring school age kids like you, Car. And yeah, I'm amazed at how mature they are about that. And what I shared, I did like a session on sensitivity, meaning what keeps you in check. So what I told them was like it's less about managing your time, it's more about managing your energy, because where you put your energy, where you spend your energy on reflects what you value the most. So if there's anything that you want to spend your energy on but you can't, there may be something wrong, there may be something where you can change, diba? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing na at such a young age you've come to that realization. So yeah, my final question, because we're like an hour already into this conversation. Yeah, my last question for each of you would be, well, for Candie, it would be like being in your mid 30s. What else do you want to accomplish before you hit 40? And what's probably like the biggest lesson you've learned thus far? And for those who have yet to turn 30, what do you look forward to? Eh, what do you look forward to in turning 30? Yeah. So who wants to
That's a
start?
very hard question for me.
Okay, I'll give the youngest first. I'll give the floor to the youngest first.
Okay. Oh, I think thinking about what I want to be at 30 is hard. I think because
It's like so far
part of
away,
the
no?
I can well, part of that, like it's also pretty far away, but also I think I'm at a point of my life where I'm just really not sure with what I want to do yet. But like I know of my passions, but I don't really know like what career, what industry I want to go in. And I think I only realized that over the past 2 years, because I always thought growing up na the goal was to be a lawyer, and I
Mhm.
had like this plan set out na for myself of what I wanted to be. But then in the past 2 years, it's really changed so much based on the people that I meet, the things that I experience. Um, and now I'm in the I mean I love my course. I love political science. I love studying it. But I'm not here for the original reasons that I thought I wanted to be
Right.
in.
Right.
I for the longest time the idea was okay, pol sci, that's my pre-law and then law school. And then even just in 2019 to 2020, like my goals for myself, or like what I envisioned myself to be, changed so much. So it switched from being a lawyer to being a teacher, and then thinking I was gonna minor in education, and then it switched to um and it switched to like just not really knowing where I want to be. And
It's
it's
perfectly
confusing
fine.
now, like right now. Yeah, yeah, that's what people also say. But I guess right now, like I'm in pol sci and I enjoy it, but right now I'm thinking if I should get a double major in communications, because I really also enjoy communication. Or in the next how many months will that passion also change, or will I discover something about myself? So I just really hope, looking at 30, I'm somewhere where uh, I'm really sure of that I want to be there. I want to hit 30 with a sense of intention na I'm not like I want to reach 30 and have a life where I really like I really wanted this, and it wasn't just like at a um it wasn't just at like the will of the universe or something.
Right.
So yeah, no specific career industry. I might be like somewhere completely different than where I am, than where I
Mm.
think I want to be right now. But yeah, I'm just open to anything, as long as it's something that I really want.
Oh, that's so nice. Kian?
Um, I don't know, like, cause my family knows me as like someone as a goal setter. Like third year high school palang daan, I told myself, okay, mass comm in Siliman. And then when I decided to go to Japan for a year, more of that messed up my plan a bit. I was like, oh, my 5 year plan, oh my god, my 10 year plan, wala na. So then I realized, you know what, I don't want to go do a plan anymore. So now that like I'm 23, and then I'm in this weird and awkward spot where like half of my friends are getting married and getting pregnant, and the other half is like, still in college probably. So there it's an awkward age to be at, really, because you don't have there's no wala na kay ka compare when you're in the race of life. So you don't know if you're doing the right thing or if you're doing the wrong thing. But at the age of 30, I really do hope that I can really say that, okay, I'm happy at where I understand. There's like, I can see the end. I know where I want to be going, because I feel like there are just so many paths right now. And there's just so much possibilities in each path. And sana, I just want to be at least all these paths, at least at 30, I want to be left with at least one or two paths na lang ba? Para I don't have to choose anymore. So, yeah, I just want to be at a place na I can see na, okay, mas claro na jud na path for me. I want to know myself at the age of 30. I want to know myself a lot better. Like, because it's a really weird age for me right now. I keep on thinking, oh my god, 2 years from now I'm at 25. Like,
Quarter life crisis.
yeah, like, oh my gosh, I don't know if like I still feel like I mean, I just graduated last year, so I mean, like this is my mindset man good, bro. I'm like freaking out, like, should I be doing something right now, or should I? That's why in the recent months of pandemic, like I keep on saying, oh, I want to be a writer, I want to write like this, but I don't actually write. So that's why in the most recent, like last month or did go, I revived my blog. So at least I told myself na I may not know what I want to do right now, but at least I'm going towards somewhere that I feel, most alive or whatever. So kana, I just want to be happy when I reach age 30.
Lovely. And I wanted to add, yeah, even if you say na you don't know to whom you compare yourself, it's true what they say na kanya-kanyang timeline. Like you
Yeah.
really just compare yourself with your own self.
Yeah. As long as I'm growing and as long as I'm learning, I'm happy and I feel like that's the right direction I'm going to.
Right. What about you, Kens?
I
Finisher.
feel like I'm still growing, I'm still learning. You know, my timeline for some people would say that, I should have known already certain things. I should be doing certain things already, but my mindset and my heart are still stuck in my mid 20s, or at least late 20s, and that's why I can relate to all of you. But but I think it's true. But I think right now, I'm more settled on being at peace, having
Mm.
contentment with myself. It's not about, I mean, yeah, there is that external pressure, especially that I'm already mid 30s. It's not, I can't say I'm in my early 30s anymore. There is that external pressure, but I also want to realize that, I also realize that with that, if I take a look also at the other people, they were too keen on, I have to be this, I have to do this when I hit this certain age. And then when I look at their life, are they even really happy? Was it
Exactly.
a right decision for them, or was it a rush decision because they thought that they had it and then now they're having problems? I mean, in my line of work, I deal with young people like 18, 20s, and I also have people that they're in their 40s, almost 50s, and hearing their stories, hearing, all the things that I have to counsel them on, and I feel like, why am I counseling you on this certain topic? It hasn't happened to me yet. I have to counsel you on this certain issue, and you're already in your 40s. I mean, I should be calling you Tita, not just by your first name. I was like,
Naman.
Tita. We call them the gorgeous, for being gore. Of the gorgeous group. Right? The mga gorgeous are here again, and I would just, when I hear their stories, I would just say to myself, you know what? I may not be someone that's successful in other people's eyes in how they determine success,
Right.
but I am certainly not unsuccessful as well.
Yes.
Definitely, definitely.
I love
So
your
I'm
I love
you love it. Thanks for the support. But I feel like, as long as I'm being true to myself, as long as I'm not, I'm not also being a burden on anybody else, then I'm good. I'm good. What I want to become in the next in a couple of years from now when I hit 40, I don't really know because times are changing. I was actually thinking like a year ago or 2 years ago, I was thinking about taking up teaching, because I learned that, you know what, why am I not becoming a teacher? Why wasn't that, part of the options that I had, because I never realized it. And then now, I feel like, oh, I would have been a good teacher.
Right.
I think,
Yeah.
and based on who I am and what, all the other things that I've been doing is sort of like teaching as well, but it's just not a formal teaching.
Hmm.
So yeah, who knows? I might change my mind. I might actually go ahead and pursue it. So that's something that, you really don't, you really can't tell. But as long as I'm happy, I'm contented, then I'm good.
Right.
Mm.
I love what you said about, yeah, we define our own success, you know. We don't have to meet society's or our family standards of success. And like I think the approach to being 30, I guess, like me also reaching 30, it's not like a finish line. Na murag, once you hit 30, wana, you should have it all figured out, or like wana kay chance to like get a family of your own or something. No, I mean, like, it's all up to you. So yeah, there's so much, I think, comfort in knowing yourself better. So I'm so excited for Kara and Kiana to, like, I don't know what they'll be. I mean, like, they're so like, they've achieved so much at a really young age. So they have so much more to do pa when they reach 30. And yeah, Ken, I super agree with you, and I super relate. So yeah, thanks very much for your lessons. And yeah, thanks for your time, guys. I'll just stop recording. We're like, oh my gosh, 1 hour and 15 minutes. I'll just stop recording, but we'll let's chica after. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you.